This is a topic that many people are afraid to even approach, but yes, in this video, we are going to be doing it. Howdy everyone, Nate here. Let me illustrate by showing you something. A few years back, I started collecting data on a whole bunch of channels in the Lego niche. So what I would do is every time I found a channel that had at least one standout video in the niche, or at least that the algorithm served it up for me, I would add it to this list. And I manually gathered a few data points like number of subscribers, amount of views they got, and the types of videos they did. But at the time, the thing I didn't realize was this niche was poised to absolutely explode on YouTube. Now, how do I know that? Well, when I manually gathered this data, channels like, I'll use TD Bricks. I like to pick on Tyler here because him and I have chatted before. Tyler's channel was at about 90,000 subscribers when I first collected this data. I updated it once since then, when he had just hit an explosion point and it was almost at 600,000 subscribers. But then you can guess where this is going. If we actually go to Tyler's channel now, we're at 4.73 million subscribers as of recording this. And I'd be willing to bet that if we were to do the same thing, at least with the larger channels or the standout channels on this list, we would see some pretty similar exponential growth. Now, why is that an issue? Isn't growth good? And exponential growth like these channels, isn't that a good thing? And I would say yes, except when it's not you. Yes, you watching this. You see, the uncomfortable reality we have to face here is that competition is up a lot. Of course, as a player in this YouTube growth space, of course I want to say the opportunity is still there and it's huge, and yes, you too can make it on YouTube, and I do still think that, but I would be remiss if I didn't at least acknowledge the current playing field of YouTube. Here's the thing, if competition is up, and it is, that means three things. The need for more distinction, faster iteration, and more connection is higher than it ever has been before. Because I want you to know what I am seeing right now and how to win. Heads up, on this iteration section, I'm going to be showing you a brand new thing that vidIQ just launched that has been blowing my mind. It's taken the standard way that I've shown previously in my videos for establishing ideas and approached it from like 5 different angles to make this iteration occur much more quickly. So I'm going to show you that in a bit. All right, let's talk distinction now. It's not enough to just be another channel in your niche right now. There are too many channels. In fact, this is something I have been observing for myself and is why I am choosing some specialties going forward with this channel that you're watching right now. Like, how cool would it be if I could make you an expert in your niche on YouTube more quickly than anyone else on YouTube? And when you're the best in your playing field, what if we could make your content so that people couldn't help but remember it? It was absolutely unforgettable. Yeah, those are some distinctions that have been happening for me behind the scenes that you may or may not have seen come out in my content yet. Because the point here is whatever your niche is, you'll need to identify these 2 areas, starting with your specialties, the things that you do better than anyone else. Understand them and write them down so you can come back to them time and time again and even adapt them as your content grows. Second, you'll need to understand what the need to knows in your space are, the types of content or the topics or the areas that just seem to do well no matter what the channel is. So I could put some numbers on this. I do about this and this. The need to knows or the types of videos or content that do well in your space already are what are going to grow your channel, and the specialties are what are going to make your channel memorable. With a rough delineation of about 80% of how you approach your content, the ideation and the delivery of the content here, and 20% here. All right, it's time to talk about iteration speed. What you and I need to do in order to test ideas and iterate more quickly is to do these 4 things. Better niche awareness of the niche that you're playing in, finding good ideas, developing those ideas, and then producing those ideas. If you can speed up the iterations of this cycle or the testing of ideas and development in this cycle, you will have a distinct advantage. Now, the idea for this video you're watching right now, where did it come from? Yes, it came from vidIQ. Now, whether or not that idea works, well, that will depend on whether you're watching this video. Are you watching this video? If you are, well, I guess the idea worked for you. Because the real game of what we're looking to do here is to make it so that your skill set, your capability, or your expertise in each of these is better. So if we want to speed up the iteration of ideas and testing ideas on our channel, here's some sources I wrote down. Questions from our audience, understanding of our niche, current trends on YouTube or in our niche or our playing field that we're on. What vidIQ did is they recently launched a new dashboard, and I've been chatting with TJ on the vidIQ team, and he said this should already be available or should be rolling out for everyone using vidIQ. So as I'm going through this, I'm going to highly recommend that you sign up for vidIQ using the link that I have in the pinned comment and the description. I got a stinking good deal for you. Yes, TJ, let me do that for you. But after you've got that, I want you to follow along with what I'm going to show you here. If you click the Create tab here on the side of the dashboard, you are greeted with a customized group of ideas. And remember what I mentioned at the beginning, how we're coming at this from multiple different angles now? This is what I'm talking about. One is if you go over to ideas over here on the left, you're going to be greeted with daily ideas. Ideas that vidIQ thinks might do well on your channel. And their AI is pulling this from ideas that you previously produced and published on your channel that have done well. Also, other ideas that do well in your niche, like trends, etc. Also, ideas that you have saved previously under your saved ideas. And also, an awareness, their AI is pulling other niche channels in your space and identifying the types of videos that are performing well for other channels. So if I go back to create, let me show you what that's doing here. We're pulling in all of these other sources into a single location. So emerging trends, things that are currently trending in my niche or in your niche right now. That's what this bar right here is for. It also pulls in questions from my comment section. Yes, when your audience comments with a question, it can pull it in here and you can use that to develop future content ideas for your audience. It also pulls in viral video ideas from your niche and displays them right here. So in my niche, this one from Aprilyn Alter has over 100 times more views than the average video on the channel. Or this one from Jay Klaus, 30 times more views than the average viewed video on Jay's channel. It also brings up evergreen content or content that is performing consistently well on others' channels. This one, for example, on Tyler's channel, 91 views per hour and has been published 2 years ago. And if that weren't enough, if I keep scrolling, it can fill content gaps or areas that aren't being filled as much as they could be on YouTube, like leveraging TubeBuddy for growth. I love that vidIQ isn't afraid to mention TubeBuddy in my recommendations. They don't have any like weird filters filtering out their competitors. And if that weren't enough, it shows really high performing videos that are consistently performing well over time on my current channel, as well as other videos sending me or you traffic so you can understand what your viewers are watching on YouTube. So the point I'm trying to make here is you can acquire skill sets, and I want you to acquire skill sets. In fact, you are the common denominator among all of the content that you produce on your channel. But tools like this, which I highly recommend, can help you iterate more quickly. It can help you develop ideas and test them much more quickly. And yes, that absolutely does give you a competitive advantage. And I have seen some people say, and rightly so, vidIQ is kind of pricey. And I'd say, yes, but you get what you pay for. If you just want to test it out and try that full dashboard for your own niche and your own content, then go ahead and give it a go. And also, it's a way to support me and the content I'm creating for you. Thank you. And that brings us to the next thing here. Connection. More in-depth connection. Let us pause for a moment to speak to Nate from a couple of years ago. If you make it a concerted effort to make connections with your people, if you make it a priority to just meet people, to just talk with them, to just build a bridge with them, I guarantee you will not regret it. Genuinely, you will not regret it. But here is the main reason why I think I didn't do it more fully sooner. I think I thought it was important, and I was aware of people saying, yeah, build connections, talk with people more. But I didn't have a definition of what that would even look like, and or why it would matter so much to give a competitive advantage as the competition keeps going up. Using the example of TD Bricks that's absolutely exploded. I happen to know that TD Bricks is good friends with the creator of Sacred Bricks. In fact, I have met and chatted with both of those creators. From what I can tell, they did a lot of passing notes back and forth. And what I'm describing there is what I would call more of a, let me write this here, more of a momentum connection. Meaning you're connecting with people that are actively getting better in the space and you want to be around that type of person and you're being that type of person. So then you establish that type of connection. The other type I'd say is just simply an awareness connection. And one of the main reasons that prevented me from establishing more connections in my space is because I thought every connection had to be more of a momentum connection. I thought if I reached out to something, I had to have something of value to offer them and say, all right, let's meet every month or every other week. And yeah, let's pass these ideas around and on, when in reality, I was overlooking the simple fact that most meaningful relationships with people start with just awareness. It just starts with building a bridge. And I give full credit to Nick Nimmin, who first introduced me to just this type of connection. And how? Because he sent me a message way back a while ago that just said something to the effect of, hey, Nate, love what you're doing. I just wanted to chat and build a bridge. No expectations. I just want to chat. That meant a lot to me because it took all of the pressure off of this momentum type of connection for me. And it just meant, hey, let's just chat. let's just talk. Let's just meet as real people. And after that conversation, if we never meet again, we never do a collab video or anything like that, that's just fine. It was still worth it. So my recommendation as you're defining the types of connections you want here is to first define what type of person would you like to connect with? What kind of interaction would you like to have with that person? What type of energy would you like to receive? What kind of ideas would you like to pass around? And as you're defining that, I want you to write it all out and then be that type of person. I laugh because that's so cliche. Just be the type of person you're trying to attract. But really, it works. All right, so once you've done that, I want you to establish a habit of reaching out to people. And if you want the simplest form I have found, it is this. Just attempt to reach out to 3 people every week. In fact, just choose a day of the week and just reach out on that day of the week. If it's too stressful to try to maintain that the rest of the time, just do it on one day of the week and reach out to 3 new people each time. Okay, we need to circle back on how this gives you a competitive advantage. When you are more aware of the other creators in your space, particularly, as well as just other creators on YouTube in general, these connections don't have to just be in your niche, but when you're more aware of the other creators in your space and or you've had conversations with them, that is a hack to bypass the resistance you might have for paying attention to your niche on YouTube. And let me explain what I mean with that. If awareness of what is working in your niche is one of the most important things that you can have for success on YouTube, if you establish a bunch of connections with others in your space and you feel like you know them personally and or kind of know behind the scenes a bit more, or you feel more of a connection with them, you feel like you're actually genuine friends with them, you care about them more, and therefore it's easier to stay up to date on what is occurring in your playing field. It's a crazy thing that I have absolutely seen work. We need to answer another question here, and that is this. What now? Is it still worth it? Yes, absolutely. In fact, I wanted to know your opinion on something here. I have been working on a rubric or a way to identify whether or not you'll be successful with YouTube, as well as what knobs you can turn along the way to increase the likelihood of you being successful with your channel. It's a series of questions, yes or no, this, or this. Which would you prefer? And I want to know from you, A, would that be useful to you? And B, what kinds of questions or things you would like to see on a quiz like that? Oh yeah, and C, boop the like button on this video because I totally forgot to ask. Cracking the algorithm, it's never the same. I see the views rise like a rocket to the sky. Got my channel popping, I can't deny.